My name's Lee. I was 20 when I flew home for college break, expecting a week of family, comfort, maybe even my mom's lasagna. Instead, I walked up to the porch and found my life stuffed into trash bags. The message from her came seconds later. Sorry, hon, I've got a new boyfriend. We'd rather have the place to ourselves. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just did something else. 2 weeks later, police were clasping handcuffs around her wrists. If you've ever felt blindsided by the very people who were supposed to protect you, you'll understand where this is going. That day started like any other long trip. 5 hours in the air, plus a layover that stretched into an extra hour of waiting in Chicago. I killed time with old sitcom reruns, half the captions garbled, none of the jokes hitting. All I could think about was food. Specifically, my mom's lasagna. She used to make it every time I came home. It had been 5 months since I'd seen her, and for some reason, I pictured the front door opening, her hugging me tight, maybe complaining about gas prices, maybe teasing me about how much I'd grown. I was actually looking forward to all of that. Instead, I hauled my suitcase up the walkway, only to stop in front of a lock that wasn't mine. Brand new. Too shiny. My key slid in and refused to turn. I blinked, tried again, wiggled it like maybe it would magically reshape. Nothing. So I pulled out my phone. Hey, I'm here. Gates locked. Silence. I rang the bell. Waited. Knocked. Waited again. Still nothing. That's when I spotted them, 4 black trash bags, knotted at the top, lined up neatly on the porch like someone had started chores and never finished. I assumed she'd just forgotten to drag them to the curb. Another call went straight to voicemail. Maybe she was asleep. Maybe she had work early. Maybe I was just being paranoid. I sat on the porch bench, scrolled through Instagram, and tried not to stew in irritation. 20 minutes later, I texted again, "It's me. Mom." 5 minutes after that, my phone buzzed. Relief washed over me, then confusion. Sorry, hun. We changed the locks. I have a new boyfriend. We'd rather be alone. That was the whole message. I stared at the screen like the words might rearrange themselves into something that made sense. Then another ping. I sent you a message on Facebook last week. Facebook. The app one hadn't touched since high school. She might as well have sent it in Morse code. I called her. She answered on the 3rd ring, all casual. "Hi, sweetie. Mom, I'm at the house. I figured you'd reach out. You knew I was coming." Well, things changed. I laughed, but it sounded hollow even to me. "You changed the locks. It's not personal. Vincent and I just need space. He's been staying here, it's kind of our little getaway. We want to enjoy some time together without distractions." Distractions? My voice cracked. And where exactly am I supposed to go? You have friends, don't you? Stay with one of them. Most of them are gone, Mom. I told you that last week. She paused. Then cheerfully, "Well, I did leave your things for you. They're on the porch." I glanced sideways at the bags. "Those are mine?" "Yes," she said brightly. "I packed everything yesterday. Mostly clothes, a few books. You don't need much, you're only here for a week." Silence stretched between us. "Lee," she asked. "Are you still there?" I hung up. I opened one bag. My hoodie. My sneakers. My senior prom photo, still cracked from the move to college. Everything smelled faintly of lavender dryer sheets. And betrayal. I didn't cry. Not then. I just stood on the porch clutching a trash bag of my own life, like I was about to set it out for donation. Eventually, I dragged my suitcase to a cheap hostel. Peeling paint. Bunk beds. A night clerk who looked like he only existed after sundown. I checked in using the emergency cart I kept hidden behind my ID. Showered in a coin-operated stall that blasted lukewarm water like punishment. Climbed into the lumpy bottom bunk, pulled the sheet over my head, and told myself it was camping. Irony has teeth. The next morning, half awake and jittery from instant coffee, I logged into my college fund. Just to see how long I could afford to keep living like this. Balance, $0. I refreshed. Closed and reopened. Still zero. That account was my safety net. It was half Grandpa's inheritance, half years of tutoring rich kids who thought AP Chem was a boy band. I'd scraped by, skipped meals, sacrificed everything to make that number grow. And it was gone. No fraud alert. No suspicious activity. Just a clean set of transfers from a device I knew all too well, my mom's phone. I didn't cry this time either. Not right away. Instead, I felt cold. Foolish. Like I'd been walking around with a giant target on my back. I stared at the zero long enough to hope it might shift. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe I typed the wrong login. But no. I remembered exactly who had the password. The same person who hugged me before I left for college and said she was proud. The same woman who told me, "You're lucky, you'll never have to worry about money the way I did." Turns out, she made sure of that. I dialed her number. 4 rings. Voicemail. I didn't bother leaving a message. 6 tries later, she finally answered. Lee. "Hi, sweetie," she chirped, like we were just catching up over brunch. "How's everything? Settling in okay?" My throat tightened. "I saw the balance," I said. My own voice sounded strange, thin, detached, like it didn't belong to me. "It's gone. All of it." There was a beat of silence. "Oh, you mean the account?" Her tone was casual, almost dismissive. "Lee, don't be dramatic. It's not gone, it's just tied up." "What does that even mean?" "Well, Vince found this amazing deal on a cruise, too good to pass up. So we used some of it for that. And the kitchen needed work, you know it did. Vince's friend runs a contracting business, he gave us a fantastic price. The upgrades will boost the house value, so really." "Mom." My chest tightened. That was my college fund. Grandpa left it for me. I added to it. That was mine. "I know, honey, I know. But Vince will pay it back, every cent. He's just tight on cash right now. Investments, you understand." "No," I snapped. "I don't. And I don't care about Vince's investments. I want my money back. Now." Her voice sharpened. "You're being hysterical." I laughed, sharp, bitter. Not because it was funny, but because it was so familiar. The spin, the guilt trips, turning my boundaries into my faults. Hysterical? You stole from me. Oh, please. That's such a harsh word. I borrowed it. You didn't ask. I didn't think I had to, you're my daughter. No, I said flatly. I'm an adult. That account was mine. You drained it without permission. That's theft. Her tone dropped, hard. Don't you dare talk to me like that. I'll talk to you however I want, because right now, you're not acting like a mother. You're acting like a thief. The silence stretched until finally she muttered, "Fine. I'll talk to Vince. We'll get it back to you. Happy now?" "No," I said. "I'll be happy when the money's actually in my account. Every cent." "You'll get it," she sighed. "Stop acting like the world's ending." Then she hung up. I sat on the edge of the hostel bed, phone screen fading to black in my hand, my heart pounding with something colder than rage. A line had been crossed. And even then, I knew there was no going back. I gave her 3 days. Not because I believed her, but because some small fossilized part of me, the part that still hoped, wanted to believe she might do the right thing without forcing me into a meltdown. 3 days, I refreshed my account like it was a group chat waiting to explode. Nothing. I texted once, any update? She replied, it's being handled. On day 4, silence. Day 5, I pushed again. I need a timeline. I have bills, tuition, rent. When is the money coming back? She left me on read. By day 6, I called. She answered with that rehearsed tone she always used when she knew she was in the wrong but hadn't figured out how to spin it yet. Lee, I'm literally in the middle of something. Then I'll be quick. I want my money back. I've been patient. She sighed. I told you, it's being handled. Vince will take care of it once his investment pays out. Did you actually ask him? Did you say, Vince, I stole $48,000 from my daughter, and you need to pay her back? Or did you just vaguely mention cash flow problems? Silence. That's what I thought, I said. Lee, don't start the drama. You have no idea how hard this year's been for me. You're right, I said coldly. I don't. I was too busy working 2 jobs, taking full-time classes, saving every penny because I knew you wouldn't help me. Oh my God, you think I liked seeing you work those stupid shifts? I cried every time I saw you struggling. You didn't cry when you emptied my account. I didn't take it, she snapped. It was accessible. And it's not like I blew it on drugs. It was for the house, for us. Vince and I are building something beautiful. I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. You think this is funny, she hissed. No. I think it's pathetic. You didn't just spend my money, you spent Grandpa's. Money he left for me. Not you. Not Vince. Her voice dropped, soft, almost pleading. I'm your mother, Lee. And I'm the one who has to figure out how to stay in school now. You don't understand how complicated this is. If you'd just trust me. No. What? No, Mom. I'm done trusting you. Quiet stretched. Then, you'd really do this to me? After everything I've sacrificed? I raised you, gave up everything, and this is how you repay me. You gave it all away for a man who'll probably move on to his next beautiful renovation with someone else's money. Lee. I'm going to the police. She actually laughed. You're not serious. You're going to report your own mother? Yes. Oh my God, you are unbelievable. Ungrateful. No, I said calmly. I'm just done being your fool. She hung up. I sat still for a moment, then opened my notes app. Saved every message where she admitted taking the money, every excuse about Vince. Screenshotted the zero balance. Added a photo of the check Grandpa wrote, marked for Lee's education only. Then I walked to the nearest police station. I waited behind a guy reporting a stolen bike and another with a noise complaint, backpack heavy in my lap. I kept rereading my notes, wondering if I was about to become that girl. The cautionary tale whispered about at reunions, remember when Lee turned her mom in? But when I finally sat with the officer, he didn't even blink. You have documentation, he asked. Yes, I said, handing everything over. He flipped through it page by page. The fund was in your name? Yes. She have power of attorney? No. Just the password. He nodded. Okay. That was it. No dramatic gasp, no speech. Just okay. 3 days later, my phone lit up. You called the police on me, my mom shrieked. No hello, no pause. Just fury. What is wrong with you? I let the silence stretch. Then, I asked you to pay me back. You promised you would. You didn't. I told you, we're working on it. Vince has a plan. The renovations will raise the house value. You'll get your money back and more. You handed $48,000 to a man I barely know, I said evenly. And now it's gone. There were no receipts, no timeline, no signed agreement. That wasn't a plan, it was a gamble. Why are you being so cold? She snapped, her voice climbing. You used to love this house. Don't you want it finished? Vince swore he could get it done for half price if we paid everything up front. So, I did. I was trying to help both of us. You didn't ask, I cut in. Oh, for God's sake, she stopped herself, then pushed on. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Do you even realize what you've done? Joe called me this morning. Margot left a voicemail crying. They think you've lost it. I told them everything. Everything? I asked. She didn't answer directly. I explained you've been under a lot of stress, that maybe you weren't yourself. I defended you, Lee. I said you were just overwhelmed. Because otherwise, her voice cracked, otherwise this is cruel. I'm not overwhelmed, I told her. I'm finished. Silence, just a beat. Then she switched gears. You'd really drag your own mother into a legal investigation? Over money that's already being handled? It's not being handled, I said flatly. It's being buried. You'll regret this, she warned, her voice trembling now. When the house is worth double, when the work is done. I don't want a cut of your fantasy flip. I want the money Grandpa left me. For school. Nothing but her breathing on the line. If you won't fix it, I told her, the police will. You don't have to do this, she whispered. Please, just give me more time. Then ask Vince, I said. Really ask him. She didn't reply, but she didn't hang up either. Just that dead air where guilt curdles into resentment. I hung up first. I wish I could tell you filing the police report wrapped things up neatly. That someone looked at the receipts, the texts, the empty account and declared it an open and shut case. But that's not how it works, at least not for people like me, with no lawyers on speed dial and no last name that opens doors. Still, the report triggered an investigation. And that's when everything started to unravel. My aunt heard it from a neighbor, who saw it on Facebook, where my mother had been anything but subtle. The police didn't just show up. They arrived right as she was setting out wine and charcuterie for her evening with Vince. She called it that. I call it Thursday. They wanted routine answers. She could have stayed calm, cooperated. Instead, she lashed out, accused them of ruining her night, claimed I was hysterical over a few dollars, and then, in a stroke of brilliance, threatened to sue them. That's when they cuffed her. Not arrested, not charged, but restrained while they confirmed her identity. Her voicemail the next day was drenched in tears. Not to apologize. Not to explain. Just to guilt me. Do you know what it's like to be treated like a criminal in front of your boyfriend? She sobbed. She never once mentioned draining my education fund. Or lying. Or telling me to fend for myself. Just the handcuffs. When I ignored her, she escalated. Started calling distant relatives, people I hadn't seen in years. Old cousins, second aunts, even a niece of my grandfather who once sent me a Christmas card with the wrong name. Suddenly, they were reaching out, some gently, others not so much. She's your mother. You only get one. She's been through so much. I almost stayed silent. But silence lets others invent their own story. So, I posted the truth. One message in the family group chat. Screenshots of her texts. A bank statement. A few dates. No commentary, no drama. Just the facts. That was enough. A few messaged privately, admitting they'd had their own issues with her. One cousin remembered Vince making odd comments about family assets, like we were shareholders in some sitcom trust fund. The noise died down. Not because everyone sided with me, but because the people who mattered heard the truth. Then the official letter arrived. She had to repay the money or face charges. I didn't celebrate. I just waited. I wish that had been the end, that she'd simply paid me back. But it wasn't. She stalled. Said Vince would come through. Suggested we split the loss. I stayed silent. A week later, she stopped mentioning Vince at all. That's when I knew. And then it came out first in a weepy voicemail, then in a flood of rambling texts that read like half confession, half breakup letter. Vince was gone. The renovation money? Gone. The permits? Fake. The contracting business? Didn't exist. Even his name might not have been real. She'd handed him nearly $40,000, and he vanished before the first hammer ever swung. Now she wasn't just embarrassed. She was broke. Of course, she didn't tell me outright. She sent me a betrayal meme at 2 a.m., then a "can we talk" text. When I didn't answer, she left a voice message, crying, "I thought he loved me. I thought we were building something. But I wasn't her safety net anymore." She tried to get a loan, but between her patchy freelance work and maxed out credit cards, no bank would touch her. In the end, she did the only thing she could, remortgage the house. Terrible terms. Predatory interest. I almost pitied her. Almost. But I hadn't asked for revenge, just repayment. She sent me $20,000 up front, the rest to follow in installments. Enforced. Documented. 2 months later, the payments arrived like clockwork, not from her, but through a third-party service. Probably so she doesn't have to see my name. They land on the same day each month. I use them for books, rent, groceries, my future. No more late-night voicemails. No guilt texts. No random memes about forgiveness. She knows better now. According to my aunt, the renovation never even started. Vince was a ghost, the money gone. She's stuck with a predatory loan, an unfinished living room, and no one left to blame but herself. Sometimes, I wonder how she tells the story. Maybe I'm the ungrateful daughter. Maybe he was her last shot at love. Maybe she casts herself as the victim. But I stopped rewriting her narrative for her. I'm not her therapist. Not her excuse. Not her backup. Just her creditor. And this time, she doesn't get to pay me back in guilt, only in dollars. Sometimes I ask myself if I was too harsh. I didn't scream. I didn't drag her through the mud. I just drew a boundary and stuck to it. But still, a small part of me wonders, should I have been softer? Or was this finally what needed to happen? What do you think? Did I go too far, or did I do the right thing? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.